Hey y'all, and welcome back. Now today we will be reviewing and reacting to another slapped ham compilation titled "Why is this creepy footage ruining your feed?" Well, ain't no use just sitting around debating and speculating on it. Let's go and see what we got.
Just see.
A woman in France recorded something eerie in the skies on September 13th, 2023, and the internet can't decide what she captured. The footage, re-uploaded to Instagram by Scary Encounter, shows a strange figure slowly rising upwards, silhouetted against the clouds. Some viewers are convinced it looks like a witch flying on a broomstick straight out of folklore. Others argue it must be a UFO, its strange form distorted by distance and light. Whatever the explanation, the chilling image of a lone figure climbing into the French skies has left many unsettled and sparked a heated debate between skeptics and believers alike.
Now, why is it whenever we find stuff like this, it's always distorted and grainy and so damn far away from the subject of the matter? I mean, honestly, where this person is, I would not have been able to find anything up in that sky. I'll be 100% honest with y'all. Now, if any of y'all would have been able to see it before they zoomed in, then I don't know what to say. I mean, y'all got to eat like eagle eyes or something, you know? I mean, honestly. And honestly, once I heard him say Scary Encounters, it was re-uploaded on Scary Encounters on Instagram, I knew automatically that this is probably AI generated. There's a lot of videos because when I'm on Instagram, I like going through and scrolling, and I've ran across Scary Encounters and everything, and just so much of it is heavily edited and or AI generated. If any of y'all follow it, just take a look at some of the ones and try to see for yourself what I mean by what I said. There was one I remember, it looked like the hull of a ship, right, that had done sank and maybe had a little bit of buoyancy and it was floating around. I'm trying to say it was a giant leatherback turtle, and you could see the rivets and the seams of said ship. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. If y'all do like Scary Encounters on Instagram, I apologize. I enjoy it too, but I enjoy it for what I do on this, as seeing things that, kind of debunk them, I like doing that. Kind of works the brain muscles a little bit more. So, I mean, what do y'all think? Honestly, this is just like so grainy, and you notice the kind of like when it zoomed in on this supposed witch, that it was kind of glitching a bit too. Y'all saw that, right? So, I mean, leave it in the comments below what y'all think. I mean, for me, it's AI generated, and it's just, who would have spotted that from that far away? That's just my whole thing anyway. So, let's move on to the next.
A commuter's very first ride on the London Underground turned into something unforgettable when a spooky figure appeared in the window of a tube carriage.
Right. Speak to staff or text police 61016. We'll sort it.
First-year medical student Alaf Siddiqui was on the Jubilee line to London Bridge when she filmed a fellow passenger in elaborate fancy dress, cosplaying as Pennywise the Clown from Stephen King's It.
16. We'll sort it.
But when Alaf reviewed the footage, she noticed something unnerving.
16. We'll sort it.
In the reflection of the glass, another face seemed to appear, pale, ghostly, and staring directly back at her. For a split second, it looked like she had captured a supernatural passenger riding alongside her.
Right. Speak to staff or text police 61016. We'll sort it.
The clip quickly went viral, with commenters insisting the reflection looked like a child or a ghostly figure glitching in the glass. For Alaf, it was an unexpected introduction to London commuting. one that left her glancing over her shoulder on the rides that followed.
Right. Speak to staff or text police 61016. We'll sort it.
Is it just me, or does the reflection also kind of look like a child version of Pennywise the Clown? Anybody? I mean, I looked at it a couple of times before, going into it and everything, but that child almost looked like it was cosplaying as Pennywise the Clown too, which I do like the fact that it seemed like it was, it was really nicely done cosplay on that gentleman there in the reflection. But ain't it odd that you just, instead of taking a full-on picture, seemed like she was being a little, not like really covert in how she was filming him. I mean, because quite frankly, if I saw somebody dressed like that, I'd be like, hey, you want to take a picture? Simple as that. I mean, that would have been pretty cool because, hey, hey, can I film you real quick? I want to take a picture of you. I like your outfit. Simple as that. But for them to sit there and, take it covertly through the reflection is a little weird. And just the simple fact that we don't see them filming, you can tell it's kind of possibly at some angle or something, so they don't catch themselves. And it's just all weird. I mean, because there's no, like, if I was doing this and I saw a reflection in the mirror and I know that that person wasn't there, for example, like that little child's reflection, if I looked over and I'm like taking the picture and I'm like, oh shit, there's a kid's reflection in the mirror, and I glance over to the side, I'm gonna bring my phone with me just to simply validate that, hey, look, there is no child by this person. But then when I come back, there's a child in the reflection. That would make this more believable, and it would give evidence that this wasn't just a reflection of a child. It's a little strange because it flashes in and out a little bit, but that can also be dealt with, like different trains going by, or maybe going into tunnels and things like that, dealing with the lighting and changing of all of that, and yada yada yada. That could be causing the reflection to kind of shimmer in and out. But yeah, it's really weird to me that you didn't want to put proof that there wasn't a child nearby. I would have done that as a, kind of like evidence that, hey, look, I'm not catching a child. That's just my opinion. What do y'all think? Leave it in the comments below and we'll move on.
I want to queue up a video that I've been given.
At a high-stakes House Government Oversight Subcommittee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, Representative Eric Burleson stunned the room by unveiling never-before-seen military footage.
This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile, and I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
The video, allegedly recorded by an MQ-9 Reaper drone off the coast of Yemen on October 30th, 2024, shows a bright, metallic-looking orb darting just above the waves. Suddenly, a Hellfire missile streaks into frame, striking the object. Instead of exploding or being destroyed, the orb continues moving along its same straight trajectory, seemingly unfazed. Burleson emphasized that the clip was given to him by a whistleblower and insisted it was time the public had access to such material. At the time of the incident, the waters off Yemen were an active combat zone with US Navy ships fending off drones and missiles launched by Houthi militants. The implication is chilling. Was this object a threat? And if so, why didn't advanced US weaponry affect it? Veteran investigative journalist George Knapp, also present at the hearing, reacted bluntly. That's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and bouncing right off.
So
Burleson agreed, adding that the object appeared to carry away some of the missile's debris as it sped off. The Pentagon offered no comment on the authenticity of the video. A spokesperson for the Department of Defense simply stated they had nothing to provide, while the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office continues to investigate reports but maintains that so far no cases confirm extraterrestrial origin. The release immediately drew comparisons to the Navy's now famous Go Fast video from 2015, which initially appeared to show a high-speed UFO off the California coast. Analysts later concluded it was likely a balloon, with the illusion of speed created by parallax. Still, Burleson pressed the question, why are videos like this withheld from the public until whistleblowers or Congress push for disclosure? The hearing didn't end there. Former service member Jeffrey Nuzzatelli delivered sworn testimony about UAP incursions over Vandenberg Air Force Base in the early 2000s, including the infamous Red Square incident of 2003, when a massive glowing red square hovered over missile silos.
The incursions began on October 14, 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished over the hills.
Nuzzatelli described multiple encounters with glowing spheres and triangular craft, larger than a football field, recounting how witnesses were often silenced or intimidated.
When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed.
Nuzzatelli called on Congress to fund independent UAP research, end government overclassification, and protect whistleblowers. He warned that without transparency, countless credible witnesses remain silent out of fear for their careers and families.
True leadership requires vision, a willingness to confront the unknown with transparency and resolve. So I ask the Congress to help we the people enact this vision, end secrecy and overclassification. Transparency is the foundation of truth. Without it, witnesses like us are dismissed. Many stay silent out of fear for their careers, reputations, and the safety of their families. Protect them, and you will embolden others to join this cause.
The missile video and the testimony left lawmakers and the public with heavy questions. Are US adversaries deploying technology beyond current comprehension, or are these encounters pointing towards something far stranger? As Representative Anna Paulina Luna replayed the missile footage at the hearing's closing, she asked the panel if they were scared by what they saw. Every witness said yes, except George Knapp, who smiled and said he was simply glad the public was finally able to see it.
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing
Curiosity
that.
kills the cat. All right.
Honestly, I am glad a lot of these videos are coming out because, honestly, it's kind of irrefutable proof of something different than ourselves, you know? For the longest time, most humans believed we were the only ones out there, so to say. But scientifically, that is impossible, in my opinion, just simply because it's very randomized, meaning like, how is it that just out of billions and billions and billions of planets, there's only one that's inhabited by a multitude of species? It just makes no sense to me. It's real strange and also kind of a bit egotistical, in my opinion. Like, oh yeah, we're better than any other planet because we have life. Very weird, just not the thought that, hey, if this happened on our planet, how come it hasn't happened on others? Why is that logic not being put out, for throughout, I would say, almost the centuries? I mean, there has to be people who have had those thoughts before in the past. And that's the reason why we had Galileo look into the stars in the first place. And all of the people in the past who helped create our modern science looked for answers, not on the inside, but to the outside. That's why we were able to see and be able to change from, oh, the earth is the center of the universe, to there's tons of universes, and technically the earth rotates and revolves around the sun. You know, we have it because of that. And we have people who did look to the stars for answers. And that's what, you know, that's how we got a lot of our, just in general, how a lot of stars have been charted and everything, because we have people looking to the stars. But to think that after looking to the stars all those centuries ago, dating back to ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, looking to the stars for answers, that, you know, we want to put back into the 1900s, into like the Roswell incident, where, oh no, it was nothing. It was nothing. You know, to cover up the possibility of life, and also the possibility of working together with something else that's not like us. You know, why hide it? And I'm pretty sure most of them do, like pilots and military personnel who actually go and fly planes, helicopters, and the like. They all have probably signed NDAs in regards to things like that, because, I mean, why else would they call these people in these videos whistleblowers, you know? Makes you think about that as well. But I know I'm going on a long rant, but I'm just, you know, it's good. What I'm trying to get at is it's good that we do have now like a little bit of a shred of light being shown upon something that most everybody thought was kind of a crackpot theory, you know, the tinfoil hat jobs and all that type of stuff. You know, that was pretty much a common occurrence and a common saying back in the day. But now to have military video footage like this video here, like the Tic Tac video, and several other videos, you know, it just brings clarity, and it also brings a little bit of relief in saying that, hey, you know what I saw in the past, or what you saw in the past, it makes sense now. It makes you feel not as crazy as you think you would be, you know? Anyway, sorry, I just went on a little rant, and I just, you know, I appreciate that these whistleblowers are coming out of the woodworks to show these video footage, and to show that, hey, you know, we aren't the only ones out there, and it needs to be shown. I mean, our actions on this world can, who knows, formulate the whole universe instead of just this little world. So there's something to think about with that too. And let's just move on before I go on to a long rant, and we have this thing for like 2 hours or so. All right, let's move.
I'm going to show you a picture of a ghost. I don't know if you believe in ghosts, but
This eerie photo comes from mortgage broker Ryan Hillard, who shared a chilling story from a renovation project in Ohio.
2 questions. 1, what do you think it is? And 2, would you buy a house that had a ghost in it?
A couple of years ago, his friend Ainsley was documenting the state of an old home before demolition work began. Alone in the house late at night, she snapped a quick picture of the bathroom. Nothing seemed unusual at the time, but weeks later, while looking back at the photos, she noticed something deeply unsettling. Reflected in the mirror behind her was the image of a hooded figure standing silently in the background. Ainsley insists she was completely alone in the house, and no one else had entered the property with her that evening.
Ainsley was in this house all by herself. It was towards the end of the day. She took a picture of the bathroom before it was being demoed.
Was this a trick of the light, an odd distortion in the mirror, or did she capture something paranormal watching over the renovation?
Now, in my personal opinion, this is a pretty darn creepy picture, if you ask me. And I just got one question. Any of y'all who are listening to me are from the state of Ohio? I just got one question for y'all, right? What is up with ghosts in Ohio? Serious question. This is just something that I've often wondered, and I've seen lots, more and more videos and everything coming from like Ohio, and I personally have been to Ohio on multiple occasions and everything, and been to one of the most haunted locations in the United States, the prison system, I should say, would be the Ohio State Reformatory. Now, that was very, very eerie, not only just because of some of the disrepair and, they're going through renovating and everything and fixing everything up and putting it back to its pristine glory that it used to be, but it's a creepy place to be, and there's a lot of haunted locations. I mean, just in the area I was at, there was lots of haunted locations, and I'm just wondering what is up with Ohio. I'm just wondering. It's a question I want to put forward to anybody who's listening to me that's from Ohio. What is up with y'all state? Is it the Hudson Valley's nearby where I'm at, Is it the Ohio River Valley? Or is it something to do with the Great Lakes? Is there some sort of like kind of triangle y'all got over there? Because I know of like the Bermuda Triangle, and I know the Bennington Triangle up near Massachusetts, Vermont, and all that. But is there like another triangle there? Because, I know of Devil's Triangle too near Japan, and there's a triangle also in Alaska. But I'm just wondering, serious question, because I do know some history of Ohio, because I do have relatives there, but I've never asked them on the haunted aspect of it. So just wondering, to satiate the curiosity in me, just what is going on with your state. Leave it in the comments below, because I'd like to know. But anyway, this just, it's creepy. This picture is creepy, in my opinion, and I just want to leave it at that. I mean, because if somebody was that close to me and I took a picture, and I would have known that they were there, I would have probably had to pose with me in the picture so you can validate that, hey, it's me and Bobby here, or me and Jason, or whatever, But to have it so close and so eerie and so just brooding almost, it's real creepy. If it's a hoax, it's a hoax. But still, my question still remains, what is going on in Ohio where y'all have more ghosts per capita than most other more populated states? Leave it in the comments below and we'll move on.
My therapist earlier this week told me that I need to tend to something for my grief, that it will help me.
TikTok and Instagram creator Lindsay Shelton, a nurse who posts under the handle Scrub Hacks, has shared a deeply emotional video that's left viewers wondering if the universe just sent her a sign.
Not yet ready to talk about the fact that tomorrow is a week since my dog Murphy passed away, but this is either a cruel, cruel joke or a sign from the universe or Murphy. And I need you to help me decide which one it is.
Nearly a week after losing her beloved dog Murphy, Lindsay says she was encouraged by her therapist to tend to something as part of her grieving process. Unsure of what to do, she decided to browse Pet Finder, not necessarily to adopt, but just to look.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to open Pet Finder and just browse. I don't know if I'm ready to foster, volunteer, not ready to adopt. But let me just open Pet Finder and browse. And please, for the love of God, tell me why this is the first dog that popped up. I'm shaking.
The very first dog that appeared on her screen was a pup named Murphy. Not only that, but he looked like a younger version of her late dog, even listed as the same breed mix. Lindsay always believed her Murphy was a German wire-haired pointer.
Looks like a baby version of my Murphy, named Murphy, and they're saying he's a German wire-haired pointer mix, which is what we always said Murphy was, and no one actually ever agreed with that except for us.
The coincidences don't stop there. A psychic medium who follows Lindsay reached out saying her late Murphy wanted her to remember something green. That struck hard because Lindsay and her family had wrapped Murphy in a green blanket in his final moments.
We wrapped Murphy in this green blanket when he left us.
Looking back at the pet finder listing, Lindsay realised the new Murphy was wearing a bright green collar, the exact same colour.
And found him with this green collar on in this picture. This is my Murphy for reference. The other Murphy.
For Lindsay, the encounter feels less like chance and more like a message, a reminder of love, connection, and perhaps a nudge from Murphy himself. Whether coincidence or something more profound, the story has resonated deeply, with many viewers calling it one of the most touching signs they've ever seen.
Looks like a baby version of my Murphy, named Murphy, and they're saying he's a German wire-haired pointer mix, which is what we always said Murphy was, and no one actually ever agreed with that except for us.
Now, I have probably what would be an unpopular theory with this. Now, if y'all don't like it, leave it in the dislikes below. But honestly, I feel that, this could have been a sign from her dog. I mean, it's a little too, coincidental, if you ask me. And, I think things happen for a reason at times, like when one door closes, another opens sort of situation. And I feel that, there's a very, very good possibility, with the therapist telling them, hey, you need to help this with your grief and everything like that. And then she was like, oh, well, maybe I can help other underprivileged dogs and everything to be able to, maybe give money to the shelters, help with feeding expenses and things like that. You can help animals in that sense by either adopting, fostering, helping with rehabilitation of them, or you could just donate food to the local shelters and everything, and you can get a chance to see all the animals that they have within these shelters. And just the simple fact that this dog had the same name as her dog, and that she just happened to look at this website in particular, this shelter's website or whatever she's, type of place she's looking at's website, and just to have the same name as her dog and almost the same look, like a younger version of her dog, it's too eerie for it to be too coincidental. I feel like there was some sort of like movement towards pushing her in that direction, because let's be honest, there's many places that you can go online to help adopt or foster animals, pets and everything. And for her to just pick this one, and they had a dog that had the same look as her dog that had passed away, and to have the same name, it's just a little too eerie of a coincidence for me to consider it an actual coincidence. I feel like there was some sort of like push towards that direction, I mean, if y'all don't agree with me, leave it in the comments down below and we'll move on.
A strange photo shared by one of Crazy Paranormal's followers has left even a professional photographer baffled. The photographer inspected the negative and the original image for flaws, but nothing seemed out of place. No damage, no double exposure, just an unsettling mirror reflection that doesn't add up. Whether it's a trick of light, a camera anomaly, or something paranormal tied to the secondhand mirror itself, the photo remains a chilling visual puzzle that has yet to be solved.
Now, I like what they did with this. They actually took this to a professional photographer, looked at the negatives and everything like that, to be able to debunk the reasoning behind this photo. I wish people would have a little bit more scrutiny on things like this, and it makes things a lot easier. And it also also brings about something that, you don't want to think about. And that's the possibility of something being in your house that you don't want to have in your house, So, I grew up in the South for most of my life, and I had a lot of family who, of course, was born and raised there in different parts of the South. talking about like Appalachian South, also mountains of Alabama South, a lot of that area. And I grew up with a lot of superstition, and one of the main superstitions is, revolving around mirrors. You don't have a mirror directly facing your bed because that's how you don't get good sleep. It drains your energy, so to say, because you don't know what's staring back at you. I mean, I have a mirror personally in my room, but it's one of those ones you can put over the door and everything. So I always have it facing the wall when not in use, just simply because A, it protects the glass, and B, personally, I don't want to see what's looking in on the other side. Call me superstitious, but that's how I was raised. I was raised that, you make sure mirrors, especially if somebody's done passed in the house and everything, all the mirrors that covered up with like a blanket, a curtain, whatever you got, a towel even, just you have to cover it because you don't want their souls to get trapped in the mirror. And also just the fact of the energies that can be taken from mirrors. And another thing too, I know a lot of people kind of debated it a few times on Instagram and everything with other people, but the curtains on the windows, just don't have them open. You don't know who's looking. It's a pet peeve of mine, but it's something that I was brought up with. So it's this one here was kind of a little unnerving. Just a simple fact that a professional photographer looked at the negatives and didn't see a double exposure that we know of. I still can take this with a grain of salt, because we don't know for certain. We didn't go and get this professional photographer to look at the negatives and to look at the picture itself, because you can tell this is an old picture because of the grainy texture on certain places of it, and also the styling of her clothes and everything. I would say probably mid-90s, correct me if I'm wrong, mid-90s to early 2000s, like 2001, 2002. So, I mean, you could tell this is an older picture and would be around the time when you would have negatives, because I didn't ever have a digital camera during that time. So, that would have been a little bit too more expensive than what my parents would want to shell out, or it would be a lot more than what I'd made during the summertime on the farm. So yeah, this is a strange one, and just it's real eerie. And also just, you could even tell like the coloration, it's like it was like the mirror image of this woman, the skin color's just like slightly more tanned. Obviously that could be from shadows and things like that, and the light where she looks more lighter in, real life as opposed to the mirror. That's from the flash of the camera. But it's just still strange and eerie, and just, it deals with a realm that I don't like delving into too much, with mirrors and everything. Yeah, I'll go through, and I can deal with mirrors sometimes, but just with stuff like this, it's a little weird. I mean, let me know in the comments below what y'all think.
A Reddit user by the name of Borderline Braindead has shared a set of curious photos from a family camping trip more than a decade ago. The images, taken by their father with a digital camera, appear perfectly normal at first, but in several shots, a strange, translucent figure-like shape shows up in the frame. Its form is faint, almost spectral, and it seems to shift slightly depending on the angle of the photo. What makes it even stranger is that no one in the family felt anything unusual at the time. There were no cold spots, no eerie feelings, no sense of being watched. Nothing. The anomaly was only noticed later when the pictures were reviewed. The father himself leans towards a logical explanation, suspecting a lens flare. But the fact that the shape appears consistently in multiple photos from different angles has some people convinced it could be something paranormal. Ghostly apparition, camera artifact, or just a trick of the light, the photos remain an intriguing mystery, sparking plenty of debate among viewers.
I think I'm going to be probably just filled with some unpopular theories on this one, in my opinion. But honestly, this one right here is really strange. Just the simple fact that if this was a lens flare, wouldn't it have occurred in different locations from the different angles? That's just the part that bothers me the most. This man who took the picture took it from multiple different angles. You know, obviously you could tell it's like maybe a little bonfire. Maybe they were having a little camping trip and everything, and wants to, you know, put the memories into photos and everything. And it's just the simple fact that multiple angles, and you still get this bizarre light anomaly in the same damn chair. It's not like, you know, in different angles this light, this flare or this light had jumped from different chairs and everything like that. This legitimately stayed in the same chair, and it got more pronounced and with different angles, which is really, really weird. I mean, this could be some interesting evidence if y'all ask me. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and say everything, because I mean, I'm a person who believes in the paranormal, but I also have a healthy bit of skepticism and stuff that anybody tries to hand to me and say is irrefutable evidence. No, but this right here is really, really interesting. Just the simple fact that if it was a lens flare dealing with the fire, his different angles, it should have been different, you know? That's just my personal opinion. It's still in the same damn chair, for crying out loud. So, I mean, I'll leave it up to y'all. I mean, I have already my decision that it could be possibly somebody who is either a family member who had passed on and wanted to enjoy in the shenanigans that happens at their little camping nights or something. Or it could have been some random person who's like, oh, you know what, they have a nice warm fire. Random person who done passed on, because, you know, obviously it wasn't a real person. But anyway, a random passed on person is like, hey, you know what, they got a nice fire. Let me just go warm up my old bones, you know, because let's be honest, campfires are pretty inviting in my opinion. Unless, you know, other things we're not going to go into anyway. But let me know what y'all think in the comments below, because honestly, this one is very interesting because they showcase all the different angles, and this light ends up being in the same damn chair, and that's what's got me stuck, you know? But let's move on.
A bizarre snow sculpture spotted in South Korea has been giving people chills online, and not just because it's made of ice. The figure is shaped like a naked man, crouched as if peeking out from behind a tree. Social media quickly lit up with reactions, many calling it one of the creepiest snowmen ever made. Whatever the sculptor's intention, the creepy snowman has gone viral, proof that not all snow figures are as friendly as Frosty.
This ain't nothing paranormal here or anything, but I tell you one thing, if I wasn't sitting there dealing with this, meaning I didn't know it was there and I was walking down the road, it would scare the crap out of me. I'll be 100% honest with y'all, because this sculpture is pretty eerie and it's pretty good. I mean, it's not Frosty by any means, but it's pretty eerie and strange, and they had a good bit of talent to be able to do what they did with this. So I'm not going to go into too much detail and no speculation in it, because this is not anything paranormal. It's just weird and strange. And I just want to know how many of y'all would have been kind of if you're walking in the middle of the night, right? Walking in the middle of the night, It's dark outside. You maybe got a few street lamps and everything going on. And then the light shines on the snow of this snowman here. You know, you're walking by yourself. It's dark, quiet. And then you see this. How many of y'all would near about crap yourself? Let's be honest. Show of hands in the comment section below about that. Because I know I would. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would.
In Carrollton, Texas, a suburb just north of Dallas, a pair of homeowners were left rattled after their doorbell camera recorded a masked stranger outside their home. The unsettling figure was dressed in black, wearing a horned red mask and holding a cardboard sign that read, Revelation 21-15. The passage describes Satan being bound for 1,000 years, the faithful reigning with Christ, and after a final rebellion, the wicked being cast into the lake of fire during the Great White Throne Judgment. The masked stranger stood at the front door around 8 p.m, ringing the bell, knocking, and then walking behind the home with the sign still in hand. The homeowners, who were out at dinner, later reviewed the footage and said they no longer felt safe in their own home. Police reported that the individual was not seen at any other houses, and since no crime was committed, no arrests were made. Still, officers are keeping watch on the area in case the figure returns. Neighbours told local outlets they were uneasy, unsure whether the incident was meant as a prank or something more sinister. Given the apocalyptic imagery on the sign, judgment, resurrection, and eternal fire, many in the community remain unsettled, left to wonder why their quiet neighbourhood was chosen for such a disturbing display.
And with this last clip, we are at the end of our video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. It will bring more of these videos and very similar topics that I talk about to your feed. So, you know, just putting that out there for y'all just a little bit. But anyway, on to this clip. Now, I have this feeling that I have reviewed this much earlier, maybe last summer or something, a video very similar to this. I have this feeling because I felt deja vu when I saw this, and I feel like, oh, I had sat there and said something about this video before, but it's unnerving. I mean, I don't know, any of y'all grew up in maybe the South or the Midwest where they had those, what were they? Crap, I'm trying to think. I think they were called redemption houses or something like that. It was like the Christian answer to haunted houses during Halloween, right? I think it was called redemption houses. I'm not 100%. I can't remember. If somebody in the comments below knows what I'm talking about, please leave it for me so I can remember. But you know, I remember they had these haunted houses. They were part of the church and everything. And they would have these images of sins and things like that in each room and everything. And basically it's the wages of sins or death, you know, that type of line of thinking and everything. And you know, just with this person wearing the red goat head, all in black, and carrying the Revelation sign and everything, just real reminiscent of those haunted houses I remember seeing a lot when I was growing up. I don't know if they're still around and everything, but I do remember they were kind of a big to-do in like the South and the Midwest and everything. I don't hear too many about up here in the North where I'm living at now, but it's just, that's what is, I'm getting real big vibes of that. And honestly, just having the person coming up to your house in the middle of the night just with that sign and everything, kind of creepy and real just disturbing in my opinion. Also kind of reminds me a little bit of that movie The Strangers, where they were just sitting there with those masks on outside the house and everything. Ugh. Yeah, no, the first one was really good, but it's just real creepy in my opinion in general, and it's a bit unnerving, right? But like I say, if y'all can remember what these are called, if you grew up in the Midwest and in the South during like the 90s and early 2000s, that's when I remember them being really, really big. Just leave it in the comments below what the name of them were and what did you think of them as well. I honestly thought it was a little strange. I mean, haunted house is good for good, like, jump scares and everything like that, but this right here has more of a impact on it, especially with some of the things that they would have in different rooms and everything, and it's kind of a little strange to me, and a little bit more kind of trauma creating than a regular haunted house would be. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but because I've been to a lot of haunted houses and everything, I've never been to one of those though. So let me know what y'all thought about them if you ever been to one. And like I said, this is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I hope you come around for the next one. See ya.